So hey there guys, welcome back to my channel and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share my YouTube channel. And in today's video, I'm going to analyze the Hindu newspaper dated 20 June 2024 and the important articles that catches my eye glimpse in today's newspaper. The cancellation of NET 2024 examination. Remember, it is NET, not NEET. Okay, both are very different. And then next is your railways vacancy. Yeah, you heard me right. The railway had come with the announcement of some 18,000 vacancies in his 16 zones. And the next, we are going to analyze the Hindu editorial articles that are important from our examination point of view. And then we are going to analyze the articles listed in the opinion section of the Hindu newspaper. And then the text and contents articles of the Hindu. So now let us discuss today is what your World Refugee Day. It is observed every year on 20 June 2024. And the theme for this year is that solidarity with refugees. So what does that mean, solidarity with refugee? It means that supporting their health needs through local, national, regional, and global efforts. So this is all the brief intro of our today's newspaper, the articles that I listed here, and the World Refugee Day. So now let's get started to our first article, that is cancellation of NET 2024. So now let's start with our first article, that is UGC NET cancelled over irregularity, CBI probe ordered. Okay, so you know that the national eligibility test on Tuesday, but the education ministry late on Wednesday announced the cancellation of the UGC NET examination. Okay, so there is a difference between the NET examination, okay, and your recently NEET controversial examination. What is the difference in that? So let us understand that your NEET is basically national eligibility come entrance test for medical and allied courses, but your NET is for national eligibility test. Okay, the UGC NET is conducted twice a year to determine the eligibility of candidates for the post of your basically assistant professor, or you can say JRF, that is your junior research fellowship, assistant professor, and for PhD admission. Okay, so the government recently cancelled this examination, not this one, but I don't know, but I will make sure that this examination is also going to be cancelled because of your recent allegation on NTA and various other members that are involved in this scam examination. Okay, so now let us hear what is going to be the outcome of that. The Education Ministry late on Wednesday announced the cancellation of the UGC NET held on Tuesday after inputs from Ministry of Home Affairs, okay, suggesting that the integrity of the exam had been compromised, that they recently got a fault in that and they got a leakage in that, and they were the first to say that you have to cancel the examination no matter what is going to be the issue. Okay, I am gonna praise the Ministry of Home Affairs for that. The CBI would probe this issue. Okay, so they have handled the matter to the CBI. Okay, the University Grant Commission National Eligibility Test. Okay, National Eligibility Test, you are gonna recently sue by that. Okay, the clouds of fear are going to be over the NTA. Okay, it's conducted by the National Testing Agency. The development comes at a time when NTA is embroiled into controversy over irregularities in the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test. Okay, so now move on to the another one. So they basically get the leak from Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center I4C under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay, and there are many students in JNU that are protesting for the resignation of the education minister and the UGC chairperson for such a scam having there. Like for example, the leak of the NEET 2024 newspaper, NEET 2024 paper, and also for the leakage in your recent NET paper. And Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge also commented on the cancellation of the UGC NET examination is the victorious spirit of millions of students. Okay, so now moving on to the another article. So now it is a good news for all the aspirants that are preparing for railway examination that the railway has recently announced to fill 18,799 vacancies for assistant loco pilots in 16 zones. Okay, first they had announced some 5,696 posts, but the All India Loco Running Staff Association made representation to the railway management's express concerning that the crew was being overburdened owing to a shortage of staff and forced to work more than 12 to 20 hours at a stretch, which was detrimental to train operation. Okay, basically say they are saying what, that their staff of loco pilots had been gone into the shortage zone, and so they have to recruit more and more assistant loco pilots. And the recent train accidents that are involving the fault of loco pilots are basically due to their detrimental sleep cycle, or you can say basically they have not gone enough rest sleep between their job. Okay, so it is a good news for all the aspirants. Tighten your seat belt and just prepare for your railway exam vacancies. Okay, So now, as you know, that today is World Refugee Day, and the Hindu newspaper articles are filled up with that only. There are basically 3 to 4 articles that are filled up with the refugee category. Okay, so now moving on to the first article, that is Blueprints Beyond Borders for Solace and Shelter. In this, the other Shashi Tharoor basically talk about how India is being a host to various persecuted refugee that are coming from all over the world. Like for example, the Jews who fled to India centuries before Christ after the demolition of their Jerusalem temple by the Babylonians, and then the Romans, and then the East Bengalis for the cause of whose nation we waged war with Pakistan, okay, and then the Tibetans and Sri Lankan Tamils, okay. But you can basically say that India has been a home to various refugees, but India is not a signatory. You can basically see here that India is not a signatory on the UN Refugee Convention, which outlines the rights of asylum seekers and refugees alongside the obligation of host states, nor its 97 protocol, okay, not it is a neither signature of the UN refugee convention, neither a 1967 protocol, which laid down the rule that are to be followed by the state in whose refugee gonna come, or you can say that they are gonna stay. And it neither has any domestic law. Okay, it neither has any domestic law which state the rules and regulation the country has to follow for the protection and what to elevate the status of the refugee. So the author basically presented a bill in the parliament. It is basically a private member bill when it is introduced in the parliament by a minister. Okay, or you can say by a member. So in Feb 2022, he presented a bill in the Lok Sabha seeking an enactment of the refugee and asylum law. So why he want to enact this bill? Basically, he want to enact this bills to any non-refoulement. Okay, that is the cornerstone, which states that no country should send a person to a place where they may suffer persecution. As you know, recently the Indian government fetched two Rohingya Muslim back to the Myanmar where they are being persecuted. Okay, and it also said the Indian government is also being hostile to the refugee that are basically Chakmas in Arunachal Pradesh and Myanmaris in Mizoram. So he basically wants to do what? He basically want to make India a inclusive country where more and more refugees are welcome. But and he also said that there is going to be their educational and health elevation, but he forgot that how India is gonna spend on its refugee when it has been tight on its budget too. Okay, so basically he talk about this in this article, so you can look into this. So again, the next article related to refusing a story of displacement to one of empowerment. Okay, so in this article, the author basically talk about how the Sri Lankan Tamils who arrived shores of Tamil Nadu in India in 1983. Okay, basically they are being persecuted in the Sri Lanka, so they arrived in the Tamil because of their language ethnicity. Or basically, you can say in 1983, some 3,34,797 Sri Lankan Tamils have sought refugee in Tamil Nadu. Okay, and how the government of Tamil Nadu have provided them the government free buys, or you can say the government scheme that are being suitable for the refugee, and how they provided an free camps where is there is going to be a free electricity, water, and monthly food rations free of cost, and how they provide the children of those refugees with education and healthcare services. Okay, you can basically see how more and more welfare scheme form a large part of the protection of the Sri Lankan Tamils to restore their dignity and empower them to build a sustainable future, and how they are being called as the displaced Tamil instead from the Sri Lankan Tamil to destigmatize any refugee thought. Okay, so he said basically how they are being empowered with more and more government schemes, or you can say basically how the government is gonna support them to elevate their status from refugee. Okay, so he basically talk about this article only, and he also said how they are gonna be a more important skilled human resources that is ready to take up any challenge as it arises. Okay, so we talk about that, but I'm gonna raise a question at the end of all these articles that is also important, and the author have to address such a issue. Okay, at the end of the article that we are going to read after the World Refugee Days article, related articles. So now we are moving on to the another article. So now the next article that we are going to talk about diseases with higher burden in Asia and Africa lack research funding. Okay, so now you can see close to 677 million people in India require treatment against tropical diseases. Tropical diseases are diseases like dengue, chikungunya, and snake biting that infect the people living in the tropical areas, but they are being paid less fund and less research facilities as compared to other counterparts. Okay, like HIV and AIDS. You can basically see the chart here how the COVID-19 is going to be funded a lot because it needed it. Okay, so it is clear. But how the NTDs diseases, these NTD diseases, neglected tropical diseases, because they are being infected in the to the people of the tropical areas, and they are being neglected by various organizations that funded other diseases. Okay, you can basically see how the NTDs are going to pay less than the HIV/AIDS that was funded $1.35 billion. Okay, so the author basically talk about that we have to not neglect these tropical diseases, because these diseases can contribute to a cycle of poverty, and they can also cause long-term disability, social stigma, and economic burden on the people that are being infected by these diseases. Okay. Okay, map 2 shows the estimated number of people requiring treatment against neglected tropical diseases. So you can basically see how the India required more and more attention to it, and 1 billion people in India required attention to the diseases that are being infected by NTD disease. Okay, and how the now you can basically see the chart 3, which shows the technology for which the global research development funding for infectious disease we spend most on the what, vaccines, then on drugs. Okay, then on biology. How can we prevent the NTDs diseases? Okay, a lot can be done to elevate the health burden caused by NTDs. Many can be managed with inexpensive existing intervention or new technology developed through research. Okay, and however, these diseases still suffer from a lack of adequate funding, research and development, and a global attention. So we have to get the appropriate attention to the NTD diseases too. Okay, so now we are moving forward with another article. Okay, so now the next article we are going to discuss about the refugee one too, Rohingya refugees. Okay, so now let us discuss what are the Rohingya refugees. They are basically the Muslim caste refugee that are being persecuted in Myanmar and other section of the world, and they have come to India to take shelter. And when the you can basically see here, most of them fled Myanmar between 2012 and 2017, when the Myanmar military started the clearance operation killing Rohingya people. They raped many women, destroying their villages in Rakhine state. Okay, so basically in this article the author talks about a woman who had been mentally ill because of all the persecution that had been carried in Myanmar by the military forces. She says, I wake up paralyzed on many nights, my hands and legs numb, thinking there is a fire in our camp again. Every time there is a loud sound, we run out half naked without wearing burqas, fearing another fire. Okay, so basically the author talks about how they are being traumatized for their entire life. So in this, the author talk about carrying on the health initiative. Like, first, what can do? They address and mitigate the core issues of re-traumatization, how the refugee can be re-traumatized from the trauma they received in their home state, providing Rohingya people a life with more dignity, agency, and official identity in India. Okay, they have to end the destigmatization of refugee one. Second, we must enable access to primary and tertiary health facility for everyone who holds a UNSCR card. The meaning here, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees card. And third, we must support grassroots organizations to build safe spaces where the Rohingya refugee can access support without fear and starting their healing journey. Okay. So in this article, the author basically talk about how the type of traumas that are being built in the refugee mind have to be cleared out using this reason, and how we have to help them. Okay. So now here again, the Tibetan's refugee article, you are basically looking into that, but the content is going to be same. So now my question is that why these authors that are being so sensitive to the international refugee don't talk about their domestic refugee? Okay, what about the Kashmiri Pandit? Okay, Kashmiri Pandit who faced persecution. I'm not gonna see any article related to that. Okay, so why that much partiality? You are being sensitive to the international refugee, but you don't care about the domestic refugee. Okay, so why, ma'am? Why is it so? So now I'm gonna finish the video with this article only, but okay, it is what it is. We have to be sensitive to not only international refugee, but also have to sensitive to our domestic one, and we have to be inclusive no matter what the refugees are. Okay, so now thank you, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and we are going to meet tomorrow again with another video, another articles, and another debates.